This is Tom Bain.
What is this?
This is Wine, Money, and Song. And if you're interested in wine and you want to learn about the best values in wine, please subscribe. So it's been over 10 months now since we started Wine, Money, and Song. And what I was trying to do when I envisioned this, and I was going to do this like 10 years ago when I first got out of working for big corporate wine companies. But I kept putting it off, and, I had things in my life and I wanted to be able to really pay attention to it. But when I finally done this project, what I wanted to do is I wanted to bring my over 40 years experience in the wine industry and my even longer period of drinking wines and having the passion for wines. And what I wanted to do was to educate, to enlighten, and to do something that I find very few people do in social media is entertain about wine, to have interesting stories and to project my personality on my experiences with wine. Now, the education part is obviously, I teach you about the regions, about the grapes, and about the history. And the enlightenment part is things that you didn't know, or stories that I could tell in the past that, oh, really, that's how that is. Why is a wine dry? What's residual sugar mean? That gives you information that helps you be more knowledgeable and more discerning about the wines you pick. And thirdly, the third E is entertaining. Now, I can sit here and be monotoned, but I have a big personality, and people who know me in the wine business know that I really project, and I have a ton of passion. And hopefully, I help bring that to you. Now, I've been watching other YouTube channels, and a couple I like. And the reason why I like them is I find them very knowledgeable, and I find them interesting. One of them is Dr. Matthew Hokie, and he's a doctor. He's the first guy I've seen who really has personality and really who has joy in drinking wine. And he travels all over the world. I don't know how much money he has, but he goes all over the world, and he's in Germany, and he's everywhere. And they send him samples. I don't know how he gets them, but they send him samples. And he loves wine now. And he's learning every day about wine. I don't know how long he's been drinking wines, but he's on a fast track. And I get his passion. And the other one I really like to watch is Attorney Sam. And he's an attorney. He's a trained sommelier. He's taken some degrees in wine education, he's a very good taster. I think he's a very good taster, but he goes a little too heavy on the really expensive wines, and he's really not, I think, in the mainstream stream of wines. But he's in the more eclectic and expensive things, and I don't know what good that does if you're too heavy on it. It's nice he gets a chance to taste those wines, and he's very knowledgeable about them. And as I said, I think he's a very good taster. He recently did a episode on tasting Caymus, and if you want to talk about a bag of nails. If you ever reached into a bag full of nails, it hurts when you reach in. And when you talk about Caymus, you're going to piss off half the people and they're going to make the other half happy. It's a very controversial wine, incredibly successful. It's in every steakhouse, but he tasted it, and in his language, he basically ripped it apart. But it was done very objectively. in his taste. So if you want to look him up, Attorney Sam, I think he's an excellent taster. And wine publications, they're all out there, and I'm going to get into them next. So as I said before, it's been 10 months since we started this, and I'm kind of proud of the content that I produce. Some are better than others, but I have a feeling that we're really rolling now, and we're really putting some things that the wine consumer can really think about. Now, in my hands here is the first episode that I did and on wine ratings, which I'm proud about. Now, I wrote a script, and I was going to read the script, and I was going to do it, but I never read the script. Never read it. I just did it, and I go back and I look, and it's almost verbatim that I did it without reading it. So no scripts here. I just have a few bullet points that I look at, maybe a date of production, a year or something, or a name that I want to make sure. But basically, I tell stories about wine and my experience in the wine industry. Now, I want to talk about wine voyeurism. What's that? Well, I think that a lot of social media about wine and the wine publications, they talk about very expensive wines. They talk about first growth Bordeaux's like Chateau Latour, and champagnes like Dom Perignon. You know, I drink it every day after breakfast. That's what I drink. That's what I brush my teeth with. And a lot of the wine writers, a lot of the subscribers, they're in the wine business. They need to make money. And I don't begrudge them that. But reviewing wines that people, the average person, if they're lucky, they're going to have the wines once in their life. Only the top 1% of the people are going to drink Grand Cru Burgundy, drink Grand Marque Champagnes, First Growth Bordeaux's, if they do it once. So people who watch these episodes, and all of them do it, the wines are $150, $200, and it's hard to find value price wines. And people who watch it are watching something that they'll never or they'll rarely ever experience in their life. And that's why I call it wine voyeurism. If you remember Tennessee Williams' play, The Glass Menagerie, one of the characters, Tom Wingfield, who had a boring job in a shoe factory during the day, but every night he used to go home and he used to go to the movies. And his life would come alive at night watching movies. And he did that for year after year, that he was so unhappy, but he would go in front of the movie screen and the world would come alive. And he would live vicariously through those films, that he had a life in those films. And I feel a lot of social media on wine, the YouTube channels and the wine publications, people who read them and who watch YouTube channels, they live vicariously through watching someone else drinking the wines. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to help illuminate wines that are reasonably, that are really good wines and offer great value. Now, I will mention some of the wines because I'm very lucky. I have a wine collection that I was able to build over the years, and I have friends who have great wines who share them with me. But you know, I'm just so lucky, and it has nothing to do with being super knowledgeable. I just happened to get a lot of breaks, and I was right at the right place at the right time. So what I'm trying to do with Wine, Money and Song is I get really excited, and you see it sometimes when I was tasting some of the wines from Argentina, and I'm just, I'm like discovering these wines again. and they really excited me. And if I can get a wine that can excite me at $20, and it excites me, a person with my experience in the wine business and with drinking, what's it going to do for you? Hopefully it'll even excite you more. And that's what I'm trying to do now. I will mention some of the elite wines I try, some of the classical wines I try, but I'm trying to only impart my experiences, and it helps add credibility to my knowledge that I do partake in these wines. But I really get a much bigger charge out of finding wines that are $20, $25 that just knock the cover off the ball. And if I can do that for you, that's the purpose of Wine, Money, and Song. That's the purpose. And that's what I'm trying to do. And I appreciate the people who have followed so far. And we're trying to slowly but surely get the snowball rolling down the mountain and gathering more snow and getting bigger and bigger. But I'm trying hard not to facilitate wine voyeurism. I want you to go out and find wines that you enjoy and that you can afford and that are great values. Now, I'll chirp in once in a while when I have something great. Someone, I go over someone's house and something, that's great. But real life is having a meal and open up a good bottle of wine and say, wow, that's good. And it's $15, $20. So I'm looking forward to doing that in the future.